Nothing quite prepares you for hearing your wife call you damaged goods over the phone at midnight. I'm Jackson Reed, 43 years old, former CEO of Reed Safety Gear, and currently trying to transfer from my wheelchair to bed when Claire's voice drifts through our paper-thin bedroom wall. He's a complete burden now, Tommy. I can't take care of him after his accident. It's been 6 months and he's still in that damn wheelchair. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. My hands freeze on the bed rail. Tommy McGinty, Claire's twin brother, a walking stereotype of blue-collar entitlement who thinks the world owes him something because he works construction and drinks Budweiser. Look, sis, me and Danny can handle this tomorrow. Pack his shit, dump him somewhere. You deserve better than being stuck with a cripple. The casual cruelty hits harder than my fall from the safety rig that paralyzed my legs. I built Reed Safety Gear from nothing, employing half this godforsaken town of Iron Lake, Minnesota. The irony that my own equipment failed me isn't lost on anyone, especially Claire. There's that motel on Highway 9, cheap, weekly rates. I'll leave divorce papers and some cash, clean break. My sarcastic inner voice kicks in, the same one that got me through building a multi-million-dollar company from a garage. Nothing like hearing your wife of 15 years discuss your disposal like you're a broken appliance she can't return for store credit. I wheel myself to the window overlooking our manicured lawn. This house, this life, I built it all. The mortgage payments, the country club membership, Bella's private school tuition, Claire's BMW, all from a guy who started welding safety harnesses in his dad's garage. The accident replays in my mind like a broken film reel, testing a new industrial harness system, 30 feet up. The cable snapped, my own cable, manufactured in my own facility. The doctor said I was lucky to be alive. Claire said I was lucky she didn't leave immediately. Some luck. Morning arrives with the subtlety of a sledgehammer. Claire's already gone, probably to her law office where she specializes in divorce cases. The irony would be funny if it weren't happening to me. The doorbell rings at 9 sharp. Through the peephole, I see Tommy and Danny McGinty, identical twins who look like they bench press pickup trucks for fun, both wearing work boots, flannel shirts, and expressions that suggest they're about to enjoy themselves. Morning, Jackson. Tommy's grin could cut glass. Claire asked us to help you with some relocation. They push past me into my own house. Danny starts grabbing my belongings, clothes, books, my laptop, and stuffing them into garbage bags. Actual garbage bags, like I'm donating clothes to Goodwill. Hey, wait a minute. No waiting. Tommy towers over my wheelchair, his breath reeking of coffee and cigarettes. Claire's done playing nursemaid. You're moving out today. This is my house. I pay the mortgage. Danny laughs, tossing my framed business awards into a bag. Not anymore, Gimp. Claire's got power of attorney. Company voted you out last month. Health reasons. The words hit like physical blows. My own board, people I hired, people whose families I fed, they voted me out while I was in physical therapy, learning to navigate curbs and doorways. Where's Bella? My 17-year-old daughter, the one person I thought might still care. School. Tommy shrugs. She knows you're leaving. Posted about it on TikTok yesterday. Something about her deadbeat dad who ruined Mom's life. Social media. Of course. My own daughter announcing my exile to her followers like it's entertainment. They load me into Danny's minivan like cargo, my wheelchair folded in the back with my garbage bags of belongings. The drive to Highway 9 takes 15 minutes through the town I helped build, past the factory that employs 200 people, past the community center I funded, past the high school where Bella plays volleyball in uniforms I sponsored. The Pineview Motel looks exactly like what it is, a place where people go to disappear. Peeling paint, cracked parking lot, a neon sign missing half its letters. The desk clerk, a woman with tired eyes and a smoker's cough, takes my credit card without looking up. Room 12, weekly rate, no parties, no pets, no loud music. Tommy and Danny dump my bags on the cigarette-burned carpet. The room smells like disinfectant and broken dreams. One bed, a tiny bathroom I'll need to navigate carefully, a window overlooking the dumpster. Claire left you this. Tommy tosses an envelope on the bed. Divorce papers and some walking around money. Well, rolling around money in your case. They laugh at their own joke. Danny kicks my wheelchair, sending it rolling into the wall. One more thing, Jackson. Claire doesn't want you coming around the house, bothering her or Bella. You try that. We'll finish what that safety cable started. Understand? I understand perfectly. I understand that the woman I loved, the daughter I adored, the friends I trusted, they've all decided I'm disposable. Used up. A burden. After they leave, I sit in the silence of room 12, reading Claire's note written on her law firm letterhead. Jackson, you're on your own now. I can't sacrifice my life taking care of someone who can't take care of himself. The house, the accounts, Bella, I'm handling everything now. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Start your new life and leave us alone. Claire. Professional. Clinical. Like I'm a case file she's closing. I wheel myself to the window and look out at the dumpster, at the highway beyond, at the gray Minnesota sky that matches my mood. But underneath the hurt, underneath the humiliation, something else starts burning. Anger. Pure, focused, intelligent anger. They think I'm broken. They think I'm finished. They've never seen me truly pissed off. They called me a burden, I say to the empty room, my voice steady and cold. Let's see how heavy I can get. The Iron Lake Recovery Center smells like disinfectant and determination. It's been 2 weeks since my unceremonious dumping, and I'm here every morning at 7 sharp, ready to rebuild what's left of Jackson Reed. Again, Jackson, 10 more reps. Dr. Lorna Vasquez doesn't accept excuses. She's a physical therapist who treats recovery like military training, and I respect the hell out of her for it. My arms burn as I pull myself up on the parallel bars. Around me, other patients work through their own struggles. A stroke victim relearning to walk, an amputee adjusting to prosthetics, a car accident survivor who makes my problems look minor. You're getting stronger, Lorna observes, checking her clipboard. Your upper body strength has improved 30% in 2 weeks. Anger is excellent motivation. She raises an eyebrow. Want to talk about it? Not particularly. The truth is, I've been doing more than physical therapy. Every evening in room 12, I've been making phone calls, sending emails, digging into the business I built from nothing. What I've discovered makes my blood boil. My so-called friend Vince Morrison, who I helped get started in manufacturing, has been circling Riyadh safety gear like a vulture. He's made offers to buy my shares at a fraction of their value, claiming the company needs new leadership after my accident. Vince, who borrowed $50,000 from me to start his own business. Vince, who I invited to family barbecues and Christmas dinners. Vince, who apparently has been sleeping with my wife. That particular revelation came courtesy of Mrs. Schroeder, my former neighbor, who called yesterday with gossip disguised as concern. Jackson, dear, I thought you should know that Vince Morrison has been spending an awful lot of time at your house. His car's there most nights. Claire told everyone you two are getting divorced because you became abusive after your accident. Abusive. The woman who dumped me in a motel is telling people I'm abusive. She's also been saying you were unfaithful, that you've been drinking heavily, that you've been threatening her. People are very sympathetic to her situation. Of course they are. Claire's always been good at playing victim when it serves her purposes. After therapy, I wheel myself to Eddie's Bar, a dive joint where I used to grab beers with my construction crews. Eddie Kowalski owns the place, a former boxer who understands that sometimes life hits below the belt. Jackson Reed. Eddie grins, polishing glasses behind the bar. Heard you were living it up at the Pineview. Living the dream, Eddie. living the dream. He pours me a beer without being asked. Also heard your wife's been spreading some interesting stories about you. People love a good story, especially when it's bullshit. Eddie leans on the bar. I've known you 15 years. You never raised your voice to Claire, let alone your hand, and the only thing you're addicted to is working too hard. It's nice to hear someone defend me, even if it's just the owner of a dive bar. What are you going to do about it? I'm going to get better. Then I'm going to remind everyone who Jackson Reed really is. As if summoned by my words, Vince Morrison walks through the door. He's always been handsome in that slick sales manager way. Perfect hair, expensive suits, teeth that cost more than most people's cars. Tonight, he's with two guys I don't recognize, probably clients he's trying to impress. He spots me immediately. His smile could power a small city. Jackson, how are you, buddy? I heard about your situation. Tough break. The casual cruelty is breathtaking. This man has been sleeping with my wife, trying to steal my company, and spreading lies about my character, and he's treating me like an old friend who's fallen on hard times. I'm fantastic, Vince, really enjoying the simple life. He approaches my table, his companions hanging back. Listen, I've been meaning to call. The board asked me to reach out about your shares. We could work out a deal, something fair, considering your circumstances. My circumstances. The accident, the divorce, your health issues. It might be better for everyone if you stepped back completely. Started fresh somewhere else. I take a sip of my beer, studying his face. Somewhere else? Maybe a warmer climate. Arizona, Florida. Better for your recovery. He wants me gone. Not just from the company, from the entire town. That's thoughtful of you, Vince. Really looking out for my best interests. I try to take care of my friends. Friends. The word tastes like poison. I reach for my beer, deliberately misjudging the distance. The glass tips over, sending 12 ounces of Budweiser cascading across the table and onto Vince's $1,000 suit. Oh shit, sorry about that. I wheel backward, accidentally rolling over his Italian leather shoe. Hard. Vince yelps, jumping back, his suit dripping, his foot throbbing. The entire bar turns to look. Guess my coordination isn't what it used to be, I say loudly. These things happen when you're dealing with circumstances. The bar erupts in laughter. Eddie raises his glass in a mock toast. Vince's face turns red as he tries to maintain his composure in front of his clients. No problem, Jackson. Accidents happen. Don't they just? He retreats to the bathroom to clean up, his clients exchanging uncomfortable glances. I finish my second beer, tip Eddie generously, and wheel myself toward the door. Jackson, Eddie calls after me. You know what they say about fighting, right? What's that? You don't win by playing their game. You win by making your own rules. Back in room 12, I open my laptop and start making lists. Names, addresses, phone numbers, business connections. Everyone who betrayed me, everyone who believed Claire's lies, everyone who counted Jackson Reed out. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Saw you at Eddie's tonight. Vince looked upset. Good for you. A friend. Someone's watching. Someone's rooting for me. I spend the next 3 hours researching everything I can about Vince's business, Claire's law practice, and the current state of Reed's safety gear. What I discover is fascinating. Vince has been struggling financially. His company has lost 2 major contracts in the past year. He needs my company to survive, which explains his lowball offers for my shares. Claire's law firm has been hemorrhaging clients since the senior partner retired. She needs my money more than she's letting on. And Reed Safety Gear? The board voted me out, but they can't actually remove me as majority shareholder without my consent. They've been operating under the assumption that I'm too broken to fight back. Bad assumption. I close the laptop and transfer to the bed, my arms stronger than they've been in months. Tomorrow I start physical therapy again. Tomorrow I start making phone calls. Tomorrow I start reminding Iron Lake exactly who they're dealing with. They wanted to throw me away like garbage? Fine. But garbage has a way of piling up, and eventually it starts to stink. 3 weeks of intensive physical therapy, and I can stand for short periods using a cane. Dr. Lorna calls it remarkable progress. I call it fuel for what's coming. My assistant Bree Martinez has been secretly meeting me at a coffee shop downtown. She's the one person from my company who refused to abandon ship, even though staying loyal to me could cost her job. The board meeting is tomorrow, she whispers, sliding a manila folder across the table. They're voting on the sale of your shares to Vince. They think you won't show up. Inside the folder are financial documents, email chains, and security footage that Bree copied before they could change the passwords. What I see makes my blood sing with anticipation. Bree, you beautiful genius. I figured you'd want to know what they're really up to. The evidence is damning. Vince and Claire have been meeting at the office after hours for months, long before my accident. The security cameras caught everything: intimate conversations, stolen kisses, and detailed discussions about forcing me out of my own company. But there's more. Much more. Vince has been embezzling from his own company to stay afloat. Claire has been using her law firm's resources to help him cover it up. And my own board members have been promised lucrative consulting contracts once Vince takes over. There's something else, Bree says nervously. About Naomi. Naomi Phillips, Claire's best friend since law school, the woman who organized Claire's baby shower, hosted our anniversary party, and sent flowers when I was in the hospital. What about her? She's been sleeping with Vince, too. The coffee shop suddenly feels very quiet. Both of them? Claire and Naomi? I have photos. Vince took Naomi to that hotel in Duluth last weekend. Same weekend Claire thought he was visiting his mother. This keeps getting better. I spend the rest of the day preparing for tomorrow's board meeting. Not just the financial documents. I've got something special planned. The next morning, I dress in my best suit, polish my shoes, and practice walking with the cane. I look like a man who's been through hell, but refuses to stay there. Reid. Safety Gear Headquarters is a building I designed myself, modern, efficient, with a conference room that has floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the factory floor. When I roll up in my wheelchair, the security guard looks surprised. Mr. Reid? Sir, I wasn't expecting... It's my company, Marcus. I don't need an appointment. The elevator to the executive floor feels like ascending to a battlefield. When the doors open, I can hear voices from the conference room. My board, my employees, discussing my future as if I'm already gone. I wheel myself down the hallway, past offices I built, past photos of company milestones I achieved. At the conference room door, I pause to listen. Tragic situation, but Jackson's clearly not capable of making business decisions anymore. That's Bill Henderson, my former vice president. Vince's offer is generous considering the circumstances. Sarah Kim, my former CFO. Best thing for everyone, including Jackson. Tom Bradley, who I hired straight out of college. I push open the door. The room goes silent. 8 people around the conference table, all staring at me like I'm a ghost. At the head of the table, my seat, sits Vince Morrison, looking very comfortable in his role as my replacement. Gentlemen, ladies, I wheel myself into the room. Hope I'm not interrupting anything important. Vince recovers first, his salesman's smile sliding into place. Jackson, what a surprise. We were just discussing. My future, I heard. I position myself at the foot of the table, facing them all. Please continue. This sounds fascinating. Bill Henderson clears his throat. Jackson, we appreciate you coming, but this is really a board matter. I'm still majority shareholder, Bill. Unless that's changed? Uncomfortable glances around the table. Of course not, Sarah says carefully. But given your health situation, my health situation, I stand up slowly, using the cane for support. The room watches in stunned silence. You mean the fact that I'm recovering from an accident that happened while testing equipment to keep other people safe? I walk slowly around the table, my cane tapping on the polished floor. Or do you mean the health situation where my wife dumped me in a motel and told everyone I'm an abusive drunk? More uncomfortable silence. Because I've been doing some research on health situations. I stop behind Vince's chair. For instance, Vince's company has been hemorrhaging money for 18 months. That's not very healthy. Vince turns to face me, his smile faltering. Or Claire's law firm, which has lost 60% of its clients this year. Also, not healthy. I continue walking, stopping at the projection screen. But the most interesting health situation involves this. I nod to Bree, who's been waiting outside. She enters with a laptop and connects it to the projector. The screen fills with security footage. Vince and Claire in my office, kissing passionately while discussing how to force me out of the company. This is from 6 months ago, 2 weeks before my accident. The room erupts in shocked murmurs. Vince jumps to his feet. Jackson, this is... There's more. The screen changes to show financial documents. Embezzlement records from Vince's company. Falsified legal documents from Claire's firm. A conspiracy to steal my business while I was learning to walk again. I walk back to the head of the table where Vince is standing. But wait. There's more. New photos appear on screen. Vince and Naomi at a hotel, very clearly not discussing business. Turns out Vince has been diversifying his portfolio. Claire's best friend Naomi has been getting some very personal attention. The room is silent now. Vince's face has gone pale. So, here's what's going to happen. I lean on my cane, addressing the entire room. Vince is going to withdraw his offer to buy my shares. The board is going to vote to reinstate me as CEO. And everyone in this room is going to remember that Jackson Reed built this company from nothing, and Jackson Reed is far from finished. Bill Henderson finds his voice. Jackson, you can't just... I can do whatever I want, Bill. It's my company. I turn to face Vince directly. As for you, you backstabbing piece of garbage, get out of my building, now. You can't prove anything, Vince says, but his voice lacks conviction. I don't have to prove anything. I just have to show it to your wife, your clients, and the IRS. How do you think that'll work out for you? Vince looks around the room for support, finding none. He gathers his papers and heads for the door. This isn't over, Jackson. No, it's not. It's just getting started. After he leaves, I address my board. Anyone else have concerns about my health? Silence. Good. Meeting adjourned. As they file out, Bree approaches with a huge grin. How did that feel? Like the first day of the rest of my life. That evening, I'm back in room 12 when my phone buzzes with a text from Claire. We need to talk. I text back. No, we don't. Another buzz. Vince told me what you did today. This is harassment. My response, this is just the beginning. I set the phone aside and open my laptop. Time to plan phase 2. They thought Jackson Reed was broken, finished, ready for the scrap heap. They were wrong. The next morning brings a phone call that changes everything. Mr. Reed, this is Detective Morrison with Iron Lake PD. We need to talk. My blood runs cold. Morrison, same last name as Vince, small towns and their connections. What about, Detective? Your wife filed a restraining order, claims you've been threatening her, showing up at her workplace, harassing her friends. I almost laugh. Detective, I live in a motel room and can barely walk. When exactly did I have time to stalk my ex-wife? Can you come down to the station? We'd like to clear this up. The police station is a 10-minute drive from the Pineview Motel. Detective Morrison turns out to be a tired-looking man in his 50s with no relation to Vince, just unfortunate naming. Your wife says you've been calling her office, threatening to ruin her career. Says you broke into her house yesterday. Detective, yesterday I was at my company's board meeting from 9 to 11, then physical therapy until 3. I have witnesses. I show him the security footage from the office building, the sign-in sheet from the recovery center. She also says you've been spreading lies about her relationship with Vincent Morrison. Not lies, if they're true. I show him some of the evidence Bree gathered, photos, financial records, security footage of Claire and Vince together. Detective Morrison studies the documents carefully. Mr. Reed, this looks like a civil matter. Divorce proceedings, business disputes. But if you're planning any kind of retaliation… Detective, I'm a man in a wheelchair trying to rebuild his life. The only thing I'm planning is getting stronger. He seems satisfied, but warns me to stay away from Claire and her property. I agree readily. I have bigger plans than petty harassment. Back at the motel, I find an envelope slipped under my door. Inside is a single photograph. Vince and Naomi at a restaurant, holding hands across the table. On the back, someone has written, "Thought you'd want to know. A friend." My mysterious ally strikes again. I call Bree and ask her to set up a meeting with Mrs. Schroeder, the neighborhood gossip who's been feeding me information. We meet at a diner on the edge of town. Jackson, dear, you look much better. Physical therapy is working? Getting stronger every day, Mrs. Schroeder. I wanted to thank you for keeping me informed about the neighborhood. She leans forward conspiratorially. There's more you should know, that Naomi Phillips has been at your house almost as much as Vince, the three of them together quite often. Three of them, Claire, Vince, and Naomi. And your daughter Bella has been acting out. Parties, staying out late. Claire seems overwhelmed. My heart aches thinking about Bella, but I push the emotion aside. She made her choice when she posted about her deadbeat dad on social media. Mrs. Schroeder, hypothetically speaking, if someone wanted to share interesting information with the whole neighborhood, how would they do that? Her eyes light up. Well, there's the neighborhood Facebook page, and the community newsletter, and of course, word of mouth travels fast in Iron Lake. Hypothetically, of course. Of course. That evening, I put my plan into motion. Using a fake social media account, I post the photos of Vince and Naomi to several local Facebook groups with the caption, "Looks like someone's cheating on the cheater." Within hours, the post has been shared dozens of times. Comments pour in from people who know Claire, Vince, and Naomi. The small-town gossip machine kicks into overdrive. My phone rings at midnight. Claire's number. "You bastard! You posted those photos!" "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't lie to me. This is harassment." "Claire, I'm sitting in a motel room watching late-night TV. I don't even have Facebook." "Everyone's talking about it. My clients are asking questions. Naomi's husband saw the photos." Naomi's husband. I'd forgotten she was married. Sounds like you have bigger problems than me. I'll destroy you for this. You already tried that. How'd it work out? She hangs up. The next morning brings a text from my mysterious friend. Coffee shop on Main Street, 2 p.m. Come alone. I arrive early, positioning myself at a corner table where I can watch the entrance. At exactly 2 p.m., a woman in her 30s enters. Professional clothes, confident walk, familiar face. It's Jennifer Walsh, Claire's former law partner who left the firm 6 months ago. "Jackson," she sits across from me. "I've been the one sending you information." "Why?" "Because Claire destroyed my career, and I want her to pay for it." Jennifer orders coffee and tells me her story. She and Claire were partners until Claire started using firm resources for personal vendettas. When Jennifer objected, Claire forced her out, spread rumors about her competence, and blacklisted her with other firms. I've been waiting for the right moment to get revenge. When I heard what she did to you, I knew we could help each other. She slides a thick folder across the table. Everything you need to destroy all three of them. Financial records, private emails, photos, legal documents. Claire's been embezzling from client accounts to fund her lifestyle. Vince has been cooking his books for 2 years. And Naomi has been helping them cover it up while stealing from her own husband's business. I flip through the documents, my excitement building. Why give this to me? Because you have the resources and motivation to use it properly. I just want to watch them burn. That evening I studied Jennifer's evidence carefully. It's comprehensive, damning, and completely legal to use, but I need the perfect venue for maximum impact. The answer comes to me like divine inspiration. The Iron Lake Business Association's annual dinner next Friday. 500 of the town's most influential people, including Claire, Vince, Naomi, and everyone who wrote me off as finished. I call the event Organizer. This is Jackson Reed. I'd like to purchase a table at Friday's dinner. Mr. Reed, how wonderful to hear from you. Of course, we'd be honored to have you attend. I'd also like to make a brief presentation about Reed Safety Gear's future plans. Absolutely, we'll put you on the program. Perfect. I spend the next week preparing the presentation of my life. Not just slides and charts, a complete multimedia expose of betrayal, corruption, and small-town hypocrisy. Friday arrives gray and cold, typical Minnesota autumn weather. I dress in my best suit, practice walking with my cane, and drive to the Iron Lake Country Club in the car I bought with my own money. A modified Honda that I can operate without using my legs. The ballroom is packed. I see familiar faces everywhere, business owners, city officials, people who used to respect Jackson Reed before his wife convinced them he was a broken man. Claire sits at a prominent table with Vince and Naomi, all three dressed like they're attending a coronation. They see me enter, and their faces go pale. Good. The dinner proceeds with typical small-town formality, rubbery chicken, boring speeches about community development, polite applause. Finally, the master of ceremonies introduces me. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jackson Reed, founder and CEO of Reed Safety Gear. I walk slowly to the podium, my cane tapping on the hardwood floor. 500 pairs of eyes follow my movement. The room is absolutely silent. Thank you. 6 months ago, I fell 30 feet from a safety rig and broke my back. Many of you probably thought that was the end of Jackson Reed. Polite murmurs from the audience. My wife certainly did. She had me dumped in a motel like a bag of garbage, told everyone I was abusive, alcoholic, unfaithful, turned my own daughter against me. The murmurs grow louder. This isn't the speech they expected. But the most interesting part of my recovery has been discovering who my real friends are, and who my enemies were all along. I click the remote, and the screen behind me fills with the security footage of Claire and Vince in my office. This was taken 2 weeks before my accident. My wife and my business partner, planning my downfall while I was working to keep this town employed. Gasps from the audience. At Claire's table, Vince starts to stand, but she pulls him back down. But wait, there's more. The screen shows financial documents detailing Vince's embezzlement, Claire's misuse of client funds, and Naomi's involvement in covering it up. Turns out my wife wasn't just cheating on me with one person. She was part of a 3-way partnership dedicated to stealing everything I built. The room erupts in shocked conversation. I raise my voice to continue. The woman who told you I was a burden has been stealing from her clients. The man who offered to buy my company for pennies has been cooking his books for 2 years. And the friend who consoled my wife during our difficult time has been sleeping with both of them. I click to the photos of Vince with Naomi, Vince with Claire, and finally, all 3 of them together at what looks like a very intimate dinner. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the real burdens on this community. The audience is on its feet now, some applauding, others shouting questions. At Claire's table, all 3 conspirators look like they want to disappear. But I'm not finished. However, I'm not here just to air dirty laundry. I'm here to announce that Reed Safety Gear is stronger than ever. We're expanding operations, adding 50 new jobs, and implementing new safety standards that will make what happened to me impossible for anyone else. The applause is thunderous now. I've turned my personal revenge into a community victory. Thank you for your time, and remember, never count out a man who's been knocked down. He might just get back up stronger than before. I walk off the stage to a standing ovation. Behind me, Claire, Vince, and Naomi are surrounded by angry questions from other attendees. In the parking lot, Jennifer Walsh approaches me. That was beautiful, Jackson. Absolutely beautiful. It was just the beginning. As I drive back to the Pineview Motel, my phone buzzes with dozens of messages. Congratulations, business offers, interview requests. The town that wrote me off 6 months ago suddenly remembers why they respected Jackson Reed. But the best message comes from an unknown number. Dad, can we talk? Bella. Maybe some things can be rebuilt after all. Bella meets me at the recovery center the next morning. She's 17, beautiful like her mother, but with my stubborn chin and direct gaze. She looks nervous, guilty, and very young. Dad, I'm sorry about the TikTok thing, and not visiting you here. I'm working on parallel bars, building strength in my legs. The conversation we need to have requires my full attention, so I sit down in my wheelchair. Why now, Bella? Why after 6 months? She fidgets with her phone. Because I saw the presentation last night. Mom made me watch it on Facebook Live. She was screaming at the TV, calling you names, but I could see she was scared. And I realized I don't know who to believe anymore. Mom says you're this terrible person, but everyone at school is talking about how awesome it was that you stood up to them. I study my daughter's face, looking for signs of manipulation or teenage drama. What I see is genuine confusion. What do you want to know? Did you really never hit Mom? Or cheat on her? Or threaten her? Never, not once. Did she really cheat on you before your accident? Yes. Bella nods slowly. I kind of knew. Vince was around too much, and Mom was always on her phone, smiling at texts. We talk for an hour. I don't try to turn her against Claire. I just tell her the truth about everything that happened. By the end, she's crying. I feel so stupid. I posted that video calling you a deadbeat, and you were just trying to get better. You were protecting your mother. That's not stupid. Can I visit you sometimes? At the motel? Of course. But Bella, I can't have you caught in the middle of this war between your mother and me. I'm already in the middle. I just want to be on the right side. After she leaves, Dr. Lorna finds me in the gym. Good session today. Your walking is improving dramatically. Anger is excellent physical therapy. Is it? Or is it something else now? I consider her question. What do you mean? 6 weeks ago, you were furious, bitter, focused entirely on revenge. Today, you seem different, calmer, like you've already won. She's right. The presentation last night wasn't just revenge. It was a declaration that Jackson Reed is back. The phone calls and emails pouring in prove that Iron Lake remembers who I really am. Maybe I have won. So what's next? Now I finish it. That afternoon, I drive to Reed Safety Gear for the first time since the board meeting. The parking lot is full. Business is good. Inside, employees who haven't seen me in months stop to shake my hand, welcome me back, apologize for believing the lies about me. Bree meets me in my office, my real office, not the conference room where I confronted the board. The phone hasn't stopped ringing since last night. 3 new contracts, 2 interview requests, and the mayor wants to give you a community service award. What about our 3 conspirators? Vince's company filed for bankruptcy this morning. Claire's been suspended by the state bar pending an investigation, and Naomi's husband filed for divorce and froze all their accounts. Perfect. There's more, Bree continues. Detective Morrison called. The FBI is interested in the financial evidence you presented. Turns out embezzling client funds is a federal crime. Even better. My phone rings. Claire's number. You destroyed my life, she screams without preamble. No, Claire. You destroyed your own life. I just made sure everyone knew about it. I'll fight the divorce. I'll take half of everything. With what lawyer? You've been suspended, remember? And I doubt many attorneys want to represent someone under federal investigation. Silence. Besides, I continue, I have documentation of every penny you stole from me, every lie you told about me, every law you broke. You want to fight me in court? Bring it on. She hangs up. That evening, I'm having dinner at Eddie's bar when Vince Morrison walks in. He looks terrible, unshaven, wrinkled clothes, the desperate appearance of a man whose world has collapsed. He spots me immediately and approaches my table. Jackson, we need to talk. No, we don't. Please, just 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I nod to the empty chair across from me. I'm sorry, he says. About Claire, about the company, about everything. I was desperate, and I made terrible choices. You were stealing from me before you were desperate, Vince. I know. But maybe we can work something out. I'll testify against Claire, help you get your full settlement. Vince, stop. He looks up hopefully. You have nothing I want, no information I need, no deals I'm interested in. You're finished, and we both know it. Jackson, please, I'm going to prison. My wife left me. My kids won't talk to me. I have nothing left. Then you know how I felt 6 months ago in that motel room. I stand up, using my cane for support. The difference is, I didn't deserve what happened to me. You deserve everything that's coming. I leave him sitting alone at the table, staring into his beer. 2 weeks later, I'm standing at the podium in the same country club ballroom, but this time it's for the Iron Lake Business Association's special ceremony honoring my comeback and community leadership. The room is packed again, but the atmosphere is completely different. These people are celebrating Jackson Reed, not watching his destruction. Mayor Davidson presents me with a key to the city. Jackson Reed represents the best of Iron Lake, resilience, integrity, and the determination to overcome any obstacle. The applause is genuine, warm, respectful. During my acceptance speech, I see familiar faces in the audience. Bella beaming with pride in the front row. Dr. Lorna, who helped rebuild my body. Eddie, who never stopped believing in me. Bree, who risked her job to stay loyal. And in the back, almost hidden behind a pillar, Jennifer Walsh gives me a small nod of satisfaction. 6 months ago, I tell the audience, some people in this town thought Jackson Reed was finished. They were wrong. Laughter and applause. But I want to thank them for their mistake, because sometimes you have to lose everything to remember what you're really made of. More applause. Reed Safety Gear isn't just back. We're stronger than ever, and so am I. The standing ovation lasts 5 minutes. After the ceremony, Bella hugs me tightly. Dad, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you too, sweetheart. It took courage to reach out to me. Are you going to be okay? Really okay? I look around the room at the people shaking my hand, the business cards being pressed into my palm, the respect in everyone's eyes. Yeah, Bella, I'm going to be just fine. Later that night, I'm back in room 12 at the Pineview Motel, packing my belongings. Tomorrow, I move into a new house. Not the mansion I shared with Claire, but a comfortable place where I can rebuild my life properly. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Congratulations. You did it. A friend. I text back. We did it. Thank you. The response comes immediately. Justice is always worth the wait. I set the phone aside and look around the motel room that's been my home for 6 months. The cigarette-burned carpet, the broken air conditioner, the view of the dumpster, it all seems like a different lifetime. Tomorrow, I start the next chapter of my life. Reed Safety Gear is thriving. Bella and I are rebuilding our relationship. The people who betrayed me are facing the consequences of their choices. And Jackson Reed? Jackson Reed is exactly where he belongs, on top of the world he built himself. They called me a burden, damaged goods, a man who was finished. They were wrong about everything. I am not broken. I am not finished. I am not a burden. I am Jackson Reed, and I always get the last laugh.